Greetings. Thank you for joining us again here at Just Conspiracy, where we just wish to conspire with other good people of this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. Hopefully you will join us in this conspiracy. We are going back over the Constitution, this document. The last time we went over this document, we went over proper nouns. And I said a couple of things that some people challenged me on, so I'm just going to prove it by going through the document again. Now, I'm going to go through two parts this evening. The first one will be on citizens, how senators were elected, and how the president was elected, because that's one of the things I've been challenged on. And then the other part will be what your constitutional rights are. Both videos will probably have this very same opening segment, and they're both going to be released differently to keep the time down. Let's go ahead and get into it. Right here, Section 8. All right. Now it's way later, after the phone call. Government, will you please just stop messing with people so that they wouldn't have to call me in the middle of the night? Come on. Pharaoh, Pharaoh. Oh, whoa, let my people go. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm just teasing. All right, let's get back to this teaching. If the government just followed this document right here, we probably wouldn't have a whole lot of problems like we do today. But it's not the government's fault, because snakes are going to do what snakes do. And this government is a tool that people could utilize for the snakes to quit being snakes. All right, back to citizen. Capital citizen, right there. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof. So it's in brackets and it has a little star next to it so that you know that it was taken out of the Constitution. But right there, you didn't get to choose. You didn't get to vote when the Constitution was originally established, because you're not one of the people of the United States. You would have been one of the people of North Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, South Carolina, Georgia, any one of the 13 colonies. But you were not one of the people of the United States, because that was a capital P. If you don't know that, I'm going to link my last video right here. Citizen, again, capitalized. Okay, we're going to get into Section 8 in the next video, but for right now, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. Notice, Supreme Court, not capitalized. Tribunals is capitalized because that's a noun. Court's a noun. Okay, a lot of this stuff we're going to go over in the next video. All right, Article 2. It's about the President of the United States. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of government of the United States. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the president. The person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the vice president. So after the first person with the greatest number of votes, which is the president, the next one would have been the vice president. And this is how the president and the vice president were chosen. And this actually works a lot better, because then you have a mixture of the parties typically. You don't just have a Republican executive branch or a Democratic executive branch. You have a mixture, because if the Republicans don't get their guy in there or their woman in there, then they at least want to get them in for the vice presidency. And of course, because it's politics, you're always negotiating, and it's harder to strike a deal to where everything is all Republican or all Democratic. And of course, when they had this going on and the Constitution was first written, there were multiple political parties, not just Democrat and Republican. And those are not just Democratic parties, they're also forms of government, so keep that in mind when we get to the end of this. Okay, again, citizen capitalized, citizen capitalized. So, and this is to be the President of the United States, been 14 years a resident within the United States. Again, they're not talking about United States like, you know, every state. They're talking about a resident within Washington, D.C. Now, I'm going to go over what a resident is in a different video, but not today. Again, you can see Supreme Court, and this is in Article 2 for the executive branch. You see Supreme Court written right here. Supreme is lowercase. Pay attention. Pay attention. You know this is coming up on the test later because I keep pointing it out. Again, Article 3, Supreme Court. Supreme is lowercase. And so the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. So the Congress may ordain and establish inferior courts to the Supreme Court. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and councils, Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. Now pay attention to that because it's going to come up later. Of course, I'm telling you how to cheat on the test. It's weird. Again, Article 4, Section 2, the citizens, capitalized. Immunities of citizens, again capitalized. This will be in the next video, so just keep that in mind. What did we learn in these past couple of minutes? We learned a couple of things. We learned that supreme is not a noun. It's the first thing we learned. And we also learned that citizen is capitalized every single time it's written in the Constitution for the United States of America. Another thing we learned was back when the Constitution was written, the legislatures were not, you did not choose your state senators as people of the state, and you did not choose the president or the vice president of the United States of America. Now, let's look at a couple of really interesting words, because you know I have my computer here for a reason. All right, we're going to start off with court. Court is a noun. We come down here, number 10. In the United States, a legislature consisting of two houses, as the General Court of Massachusetts. The original Constitution of Connecticut established a General Court in 1639. That's important because the legislature is a court. The legislative branch of government is a court. The executive branch of government is a court. The executive branch of government is the original court because the definition of a court, when you go look in a Black Law Dictionary, is the suit of the sovereign and his retinue. Okay, so it's basically the suit that follows the king around and all of the courtiers that follow the king around as well. That's what a court is. So the executive branch is the original court. Why do you think they talk about the Supreme Court being the judicial branch? Because we're supposed to live in a nation of laws. Okay? We're not supposed to live in a nation of statutes. That's not the original intent by the Constitution. And that's why they talk about the court being supreme, is because the courts are supreme over the legislature, over the executive branch. But that's not how it operates today. Start thinking, because people not understanding this is what's causing a big problem in our society.
However, I think the attitude of the American people, and this is the point I was making, is largely a product of the fact that they don't understand our Constitution. This is one of the reasons why we have to educate the American people, as we have not been doing for decades, about what our Constitution produces and what it is designed to produce.
No, we've discovered it's the same problem Sandra O'Connor is always talking about. I mean, we're limited in what we can do, and probably you are, but she's out there nonstop trying to get civics restored to the high school curriculum.
Remember what Justice Scalia and the other justice said? I don't know what that guy's name is. I'm ashamed to say. Anyways, that's it for this video. Stick around because I got another video coming right up. Oh, wait. I forgot. I had another word looked up. Just to show you that it's not a noun and it's an adjective, supreme, adjective, highest in authority. In the United States, the Congress is supreme in regulating commerce and making war and peace. That's what they can do. They can regulate commerce and they can make war and peace. That's all they can do. They can't regulate man and woman, just commerce. Are you a commercial property? You are if you choose to be. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Stick around, and I'm going to have another episode coming up soon. That's going to have the same beginning.
Dad, you're still awake? Oh, y'all go subscribe to New Sumo before so that we can get the party really starting. Okay? And also leave a like, subscribe, and click that bell to never miss another video.
How many people are over News Humor?
And those, I can't remember how many subscribers.
Almost 100?
Almost 100. So before we get to 100, I gotta get to that party. Bye.